How about a Coppola quick facts?
Coppola quick facts here. There are quite a few quick facts, so strap in. David Lynch did not like the ending of Gifford's book, which, spoilers for the book, ends with Sailor and Lula splitting up for good, which kind of sort of happens and then doesn't happen in this movie. The ending of every David Lynch movie is a little confusing. This one, it's almost like we just slipped into a dream or something at the end. We'll get to it, but yeah, for Lynch, it honestly didn't seem real, is what he said, considering the way that they felt about each other. It didn't seem one bit real. It had a certain coolness, but I couldn't see it. I feel like I should say that as Lynch. It honestly didn't seem real. He always talks like that.
Can you do your whole section, your whole acting? Please.
I come across this car crash. There's a guy laying on the ground.
The girl's itching her head, saying her hair is sticky. It's real sticky. Where's my hairbrush? There are, as we'll point out as we go, I'm not going to point them all out in the breakdown, but like there are various references to Wizard of Oz throughout the film, which has been interpreted as indicative of the overall fantasy world of the movie, which Sailor's obsession with the fantasies of Elvis and the couple's fantastical relationship also speak to that. And it's just kind of weird, like... So they kind of made Lula Marilyn Monroe. They sort of made Sailor into Elvis Presley. This is mostly David Lynch doing this stuff. This stuff wasn't in the book. The Wizard of Oz stuff wasn't in the book. This was all David Lynch just like, it just made sense. I just felt like it should have a big Wizard of Oz theme throughout it. And with everything David Lynch, it's kind of like there could be meaning to it, or it could just be something cool he wanted to do or something he found fun. You just never know.
He probably just watched it again and was like, I'm going to throw this in the film.
Yellow Brick Road. I like that.
She's going to tap her heels together and go nowhere.
Yeah. I think like there is something to it with like, she wants to escape into a fantasy world, but, there is no such thing. Like she
wants to go
escape.
home, but she doesn't have one.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, her home's horrible. Like even if she were to go home, it's awful.
Yeah. It's trapped in this nightmare world. Once they get to Big Tuna, Texas.
Yeah.
Big Tuna.
Oh, God.
Is that a real place?
No.
I hope so.
It's the only one of the, I'd say it in the breakdown, but it's the only one of the fake or the crazy sounding names of places that they go to that is actually fake. All the rest of them are real.
Big Tuna, that'd be awesome.
Seems like a name that Texas would have.
Yeah.
Just out in the middle of the desert. Most of that stuff was shot in El Paso, by the way. So it's really in the middle of dirt.
Yeah, they were way out there.
Nick Cage states that Wild at Heart helped him get away from method acting, which is crazy.
What?
You really think about it. David Lynch's spontaneous rewrites in the film's odd characters help him to be more playful with the craft. So, before this, as we've talked about in some of those other movies, like, Moonstruck, he was doing this like combo of Marlon Brando and Max Schreck, I think, the Metropolis guy. I'm not sure if that was Max Schreck. That's
Nosferatu.
Yeah, Nosferatu. Anyways, that guy from Metropolis, he was kind of like channeling him. And then, of course, with Vampire's Kiss, he was going full-on method, including eating a frickin' cockroach on screen. And, of course, Raising Arizona, he turned into Woody Woodpecker. So it's interesting to think that Wild at Heart of all films was the movie that kind of made him think, maybe I don't need to do this anymore.
But can you imagine what kind of living nightmare it would be to method act a David Lynch character? Like just to be that character constantly?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was going for Elvis, so I kind of feel like he was still method acting.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, although the accent dropped in and out quite a bit.
It was funny. I watched the behind the scenes, and the scene where they're in the hurricane, and they're watching Power Mad, and like him like doing the devil horns to the band to get them to stop and stuff. Like Nick Cage just busted up laughing in that scene. Like that just doesn't feel like normally Nick Cage would be like very in it, but I feel like he gets the joke of this movie, and I feel like some people are not going to get the joke of this movie.
Yeah.
But this movie is hilarious from start to finish.
Yeah, that
in
was
my opinion.
That was a great scene. And they just stopped playing.
Everybody stopped.
Everybody parts, yeah.
Laura Dern, who preferred to play intellectual characters, had difficulty playing someone who was so sex obsessed as Lula. But she ended up kind of finding the character by chewing gum in pretty much every scene and kind of being like a Lolita throughout the movie.
Just like chewing like a cow.
I know.
Just nothing going on up there.
Yeah.
Fucking drove me nuts, dude. Oh, God.
That was kind of how she got into the mindset of Lula, was chewing gum. She actually broke her no nudity clause to do this film. And in a 1990 interview, she was quoted as saying, "I'd never done nudity in a movie. I've never sort of condoned it for myself, but David wanted it. And I was completely comfortable with it because that love story was so protected. There's never a moment where you feel anything is exploited. I'm interested to see what the American reviewers talk about compared to the Europeans, who really didn't question it much." I do kind of question it, especially in some of those scenes where it's just like, it just feels a little gratuitous.
Yeah.
But, you know,
For
at
her,
the same time,
or
it
for
does.
the whole, like,
For
just
the film. Yeah.
for the film. Yeah, for her part, I can see where she's coming from. There's only one point I felt like was not protected by the love story, as she put it. And, you know, we'll get into it in the third act, but.
Yeah. You're talking about the Bobby
Dafoe.
Peru scene, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I could say that's actually, you know, she's like trying to summon Sailor to come back, to save her from this evil, dummy weirdo freak. But she had to be very like,
I guess she had to be vulnerable.
Yeah, vulnerable. That's the word.
I guess now, yeah, I guess that's true. She had to be vulnerable in that moment. So I guess it does make sense. And she wasn't nude. She's just in a see-through nightie.
She was topless though with the nightie, and I felt like that was a bit much. Like she could have been at least wearing a bra or something. But
I mean, but you're not gonna wear a bra. If you put it in context, like you're not gonna wear a bra if you're in a nightie. So I get it.
She was wearing high heels in bed though. So
well, I mean, she's a lady of class.
Yeah. Ruby slippers.
Yeah, ruby slippers, dude.
Originally, Wild at Heart featured more explicit erotic scenes between Sailor and Lula. More? In one, she has an orgasm while relating to Sailor a dream she had of being ripped open by a wild animal.
Okay.
We've all been there, right?
Another deleted scene had Lula lowering herself onto Sailor's face saying, "Take a bite of Lula."
Oh my God.
Which I think was a callback to the take a bite of the peach or whatever.
Yeah.
That other girl.
God damn, I hope there's a face-off joke in here somewhere.
Before filming started, Laura Dern and Nick Cage went on a road trip to Las Vegas together. This was done in order to bond and get a handle of their characters. It was Laura Dern's idea, with her later stating, "We agreed Sailor and Lula had to be as if they were like one person, one character, and we would share it." I think it works. I think they have great chemistry together.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it has something to do with that little road trip. I'm guessing it was from Los Angeles, so it wasn't a super long road trip, but probably a road trip over to Vegas, stay the night, come back. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought they had a really good chemistry. I thought that was a good pairing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a shame that they've never really done anything together since.
Yeah, I think have they done, I think maybe one more movie together?
I don't know.
I feel like they have, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I feel like they did another kind of directed DVD movie together, but I could be wrong. But yeah, it's just a shame because they had really good chemistry.
Yeah, this film was completed one day before it debuted at the 1990 Cannes Film Festival in the 2,400-seat Grand Auditorium. After the screening, it received wild cheering from the audience. When jury president Bernardo Bertolucci announced Wild at Heart as the Palme d'Or winner at the awards ceremony, the boos almost drowned out the cheers. With film critic Roger Ebert leading the vocal detractors against this film. He hated this movie.
Yeah, I don't see him being a fan of Lynch in general.
Yeah, I
can
think
see
he's said a few nice things about some of the films, but I feel like in general he just feels like David Lynch is just kind of masturbatory in some of the filmmaking that he makes. Which I can see.
I can see it.
But still, just
I think especially throwing like Wizard of Oz in there so heavy-handed probably was like to a film critic was like, okay, we get it, whatever. Like, sure.
Yeah.
Eye rolling.
It's crazy that it won the Palme d'Or though. Like that's the grand prize of Cannes. And like that's a huge honor. And this movie is weird as fuck from start to finish.
Yeah. That's odd. That's very odd.
Barry Gifford, the guy who wrote the book, remembers that there was a prevailing mood that the media was hoping David Lynch would fail. In general, apparently they just hated his work. He said that all kinds of journalists were trying to cause controversy and have him say something like, "This is nothing like the book," or "He ruined my book." I think everybody from Time magazine to What's On in London was disappointed when I said, "This is fantastic. This is wonderful. It's like a big, dark musical comedy." So the author loves the movie. Which
like that
like,
attitude. That's pretty refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice that he wasn't poo-pooing on it.
Yeah, both him and David Lynch both said, like, these are two different things, like fans of the book can read the book and fans of the movie can watch the movie. And I think that's kind of a great way of going about it. It's like there are fans of The Shining, the book, and then there are fans of the movie, and then there's fans of both. I think you can like both as their own things. But, you got to love what Kubrick did. And then, Stephen King is a genius. So it's like,
Yeah. Well, let's not throw around that term with King too lightly.
It's the cocaine talking.
Little fucking narcissist at times, narcissistic at times, but
yeah.
I'm just saying his big complaint is that they didn't have the stupid fucking hedge animals in the Kubrick movie.
Well, I mean, he had a lot of complaints. Specifically about the axe and the characters that die and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I get it. The book is completely different. Like he's just running around with a sledgehammer in the book.
Yeah.
And he never actually kills anybody. Spoilers for the book. Besides himself.
Yeah, I was going to say besides himself.
Anyways, early test screenings for the film did not go well. Lynch estimated that 80 people walked out of the first screening and 100 in the next.
Wow. Oh, man.
The MPAA told Lynch that the version of Wild at Heart that screened at Cannes would receive an X rating in North America. And that's because NC-17 wasn't in effect yet. I think if NC-17 would have been a thing, he would have just gone with the NC-17 rating. You look at like some of his other films and wonder like, how did he get that to be not NC-17?
He loves nudity.
He loves nudity. He loves violence.
Yeah, and he loves gore.
I really feel like if you watch David Lynch's work, you can really see how he inspired like Tarantino, especially. I think other directors also took cues from him. Potentially Paul Schrader, Oliver Stone, a lot of those types of directors.
Yeah,
probably took a lot of inspiration from David Lynch, and probably David Lynch from them too. But like, you cannot watch Wild at Heart and Natural Born Killers and not think of each other.
And
like,
not compare
the two movies.
Yeah,
they feel very similar, although, Natural Born Killers is much more dark, weirdly. But yeah. They just kind of feel like cousins, those two movies.
Yep.
The director was contractually obligated to deliver an R-rated film. He made one change in the scene where, spoilers, Willem Dafoe's character shoots off his own head with a shotgun. I noticed it a lot after I had done the research to get the quick facts, but gun smoke was added to tone down the blood and hide the removal of the character's head from his body. Which you can really see in that shot. Like, even like, so there's like two cuts. So it's like he shoots himself in the head, and then the next scene is like his body falling on the ground, and there's still smoke all over it.
There's a ton of smoke
scene too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a ton of smoke. Yeah.
Foreign prints, though, were not affected, and the Region 1 DVD and Blu-rays contain the toned-down version of the shotgun scene. There's also a scene missing that I looked for because it was referred to in the IMDB facts. Marietta hands Lula a lollipop in the abortion scene.
Oh my God, really?
Which I went back and tried to find that, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I think it was also cut. Might have been a deleted scene or something, but like,
Yeah.
and that apparently was Diane Ladd's idea. It didn't come from David Lynch, didn't come from Gifford. It came from Diane Ladd, of all people, her mom, her actual mom.
Some dark shit right there.
Oh, yeah.
Which, in case you didn't know, Laura Dern's parents are Diane Ladd, of course, and Bruce Dern, who is the legendary, he was in Westerns and all that kind of stuff. And he is one of my favorite actors who just shows up randomly in things. Yeah. He was in Nebraska, which I think he was nominated for an Oscar, might have won an Oscar, I forget. And was in The Burbs, that Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah, dude.
The first time that was pointed out to me was for The Haunting. He's like the groundskeeper of the mansion at the. My mom was like, "That's because I loved Jurassic Park as a kid." She's like, "That's the woman from Jurassic Park's dad." Okay. So every time I see him and stuff now,
Yeah, I love that guy. Specifically, his voice. His voice is just so
unique,
memorable, and unique. Laura Dern's son, Ellery Harper, met David Lynch and expressed an interest in seeing the films that they had made together. But David Lynch told him not to watch this film until he was 30.
Yeah, even then, probably not.
Yeah. And he said the reason is not because of his mother's performance, but because of his grandmother's performance.
The whole bathroom scene. I don't think I'd ever want to hear my grandma say those words.
God damn, dude. Fuck Lula's mama. During filming, Laura Dern passed out when David Lynch asked her to smoke 4 cigarettes at once in one deep inhalation.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Don't they make fake cigarettes?
Yeah.
Yes.
For movies?
Apparently not for this movie,
90s. Early 90s.
When she came to, she saw worried David Lynch standing above her asking, "Tidbit, are you all right?" Guess he calls her Tidbit.
Am I in hell?
Why are you talking to me with a megaphone?
Standing a foot away from her face with the megaphone.
You gotta hear this song.
They're German.
They're not Nazis, though, I swear.
I swear. That was a long time ago.
The snakeskin jacket that Sailor wears in the film was actually Nicolas Cage's own. Cage asked the director if he could wear the jacket in the film as a tribute to Marlon Brando's role in The Fugitive Kind. So it's always
that's such a cagey thing to do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. After filming was completed, Cage gave his jacket to Laura Dern, who apparently, I guess, still has it because he's been asked in several of those like AMAs, you know, whatever happened to the snakeskin jacket, and he said he gave it to Laura Dern.
That's nice. I like that story.
Yeah, it's kind of speaks to their relationship in this film and in real life, I'm sure. On a side note, The Fugitive Kind was based on the play Orpheus Descending by Diane Ladd's cousin, Tennessee Williams.
Whoa, that's too funny.
Laura Dern's parents, Diane Ladd and Bruce Dern, met while appearing in a 1961 stage production of Orpheus Descending.
Wow.
Damn.
Kind of crazy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. There's been a big Nepo baby debate in Hollywood lately. And, and then the final quick fact, not counting Twin Peaks, this is the only one of David Lynch's films to technically have a follow-up or a sequel. There's a film from 1997 called Perdita Durango, which is the character that Isabella Rossellini plays in this film, which is directed by Alex de Iglesia. It follows the titular anti-heroine played by Rosie Perez in that film, but is played by Isabella Rossellini in this film. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's like what's the Jesus Rolls Again or whatever the hell that movie was.
Yeah,
Jesus Rolls.
The Jesus Rolls, I think is what it was called.
Yeah.
Which is like the Big Lebowski follow-up that has nobody involved in the Big Lebowski attached to it, aside from
John Turturro.
Yeah, John Turturro. I thought it was interesting that there's a sequel to this movie.
That's weird.
Really.
Okay. But not with Isabella Rossellini.
No.
So again, why would you do a sequel to it, but as a different actress playing the character that
She probably
was
was
a
like,
side
fuck
character?
that. I'm not going back. I'm out. I'm free.
Rosie Perez is a very different actress than Isabella Rossellini.
Yeah.
In many different ways.
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting choice.